Good morning, everyone. It is March 24th, 2018. I'm here at DC Clothesline Betrayal. How the Republicans are gutting the Second Amendment. You know, people are concerned with a lot of nonsensical shit. A whole lot. None of them are realize a plan to kill more than, 6 billion people? A plan to destroy their way of life. Of course, I'm a fan of the plan to destroy our way of life because it's very decadent, very control freakish. But I digress. Most people on the left the right, like to blame Democrats for gun control. But the newsflash is, those of us who are actually awake understand that the Republicans are just as guilty of this. Now, they may get on the floor of the Senate and Congress and spout a bunch of bullshit about being pro-Second Amendment. But every chance they do something to erode it, the Republican Party, who are in Congress right now, are betraying you. The budget bill on the table right now would gut the right to bear arms for millions of Americans. It's already passed the House and the Senate, and the Congress is controlled by Republicans. President Trump, who ran as a Republican, who I believe is a closet liberal, has signed the bill, which has no funding for his beloved border wall, reduces gun rights, and fully funds Planned Parenthood. Was I right, or was I right? Come on, people, give me some credit here. I still have every video. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm not sure. I think I still have every video I made warning about Donald Trump. Now, I'm not reading this article to you. I think every one of you are capable of reading. I'm just using this as an example. While we haven't heard a whole lot about the United Nations for a while, I think about 4 to 6 months. the reason we haven't heard about the United Nations is because they've already got all their shit staged and ready to go. We have mercenary groups who are also ready to go. And these mercenary groups aren't going to be for the liberals, people. These mercenary groups are going to be for anybody who has a gun, at least they know about. It's going to be for anybody who disagrees with the satanic act of abortion. And make no mistake about it, it's exactly what it is. A satanic act. It is sacrifice. I know. I know how fucking crazy that sounds. But, allow me to point out, truth is much stranger than fiction. I'll give you an example of this right here and now. Every time you drink a Pepsi product, you are putting into your body kidney cells from embryos. Can't tell me that ain't stranger than fiction. I'm gonna share something very, very personal with you. And it's not going to be easy. When I was a child growing up, my parents, or my grandparents, and all of my grandparents, they went to the Mormon Church, Latter-day Saints. And I can't tell you what a strange bunch of people they are. I mean, they're really fucking weird. And I'll give you an example of that as well. Do you know that the Mormon Church dictates to its members what kind of undergarments they may or may not wear? Did you know that? Isn't that strange? A lot of these things have been relaxed a little bit. For example, the wearing of beards. It used to be that the Mormon Church didn't allow people to have beards. Well, the Mormon Church is a lot like the Catholic Church in the victimization of children. How do I know this? Because I was one of those victims. It makes my stomach turn right now to tell you this. Who wants to admit to something like that? Allow me to tell you that there are some things that happen to you as a child that affect you the rest of your life. And this is one of them. Now, yesterday I called the Mormon Church. And I have a recording that I made with them. I'm going to release that recording here. I'm going to cut out some of the long pauses because these people had no idea what to say to me. Just about every Mormon is a Republican. The Mormon Church actively covers up their perversions towards children. What's this have to do with this article? Let me tie this together with you. At least with liberals, you know where they stand. You know that they are for cannibalism. You know that they are for abortion. You know that they are for authoritarianism. Republicans, on the other hand, they present to you a facade of Christianity. I would argue that if Jesus were to come down from the clouds, the very first people to go, to be smited, to be cast to the fiery pits of hell. I'm talking rhetorically here, okay? So I believe Nibiru is hell. Very first people are those people in the churches who are hypocrites. They go to church on Sunday and pretend to be concerned about all these different things. Concerned about abortion, concerned about sinners. As soon as they leave that church, they participate in the very sins that they just got through judging others for. How can anyone with any moral fiber do that? Am I saying all of them are like that? No. But I am saying the majority are. The majority of people in the United States are evil, wicked, and disgusting people. I owe you no allegiance because you're an American. I owe you nothing. I don't owe you my fucking tax dollars. I don't owe you my obedience. I don't owe you a motherfucking thing. Let me catch somebody, anybody, high ranking, low ranking, molesting a child. You will see the very definition of brutal. Now, back to the Mormons. My grandpa, from the age of about 3 to 7, he molested me. And it has had profound effect on me. Profound. It has made me into a person who does not trust anyone. I mean, how can I? How can I trust anyone when the people who I was supposed to be able to trust as a child caused me harm? Now my mother, when I was about 2 years old, and believe it or not, I remember this. I remember it as if it were yesterday. We were in a grocery store, and I was crying for some reason. And she thought that it would be a good idea to bite my leg until I bled. Still have the scar. And she slapped me. She did all kinds of fucked up shit to me. Somebody saw her do it. He was a large, bald man. And he told her he should smash her face for what she just did, and if he ever saw her again, he would. The government is a lot like my grandpa and my mother. They molest us, abuse us, and then my dad, he's a perfect metaphor. He is the perfect example of an individual who only cares about his own self-interest. He works for some government contractor. He was the person, I don't know if he still is, responsible for making sure every nut and bolt, everything, was added to these FEMA camps that many people believe don't exist, and they do exist, because my dad was the quality control person for those places. Now, these people betray us every day exactly the same way my parents and my grandparent betrayed me. And the abuse with my mom didn't stop there. I mean, there was lots of it. Lots. 6 months ago, maybe a little longer, she thought she was going to die. And this is the kind of man I am. She thought she was going to die and reached out to other family members to find me. she wanted me to go up to the hospital so she could repent for what she had done to me. So that she could die in peace. She didn't die. But since then, we have had contact a few times. And she tries to throw money at me. She tries to act like nothing ever happened. I forgave my mother. But that doesn't mean I love her. That doesn't mean I want anything to do with her. But unfortunately, when somebody brings you a bunch of legal documents saying that you're going to inherit their entire life insurance policy and their husband's life insurance policy, you kind of have to talk to them. And every time I do, I want to smash your face. And rightfully so. And every time all of these politicians betray us, I want to engage in civil war. And rightfully so. But the people of this country are so fucking cowardly. They're so fucking stupid that they deserve whatever happens to them. Just like an individual who smokes. I smoke. Okay? I deserve what I get for doing that. The people who betray us as our leaders deserve due punishment. And I do believe there's a certain punishment for treason. And what these people are doing to us is nothing less than treason. They're using children to lobby, to gain sympathy. Children who probably weren't even involved in that shooting at all. Children who are actors. They're using them to disarm you. And if I were you, I would seriously consider going to the wrong side of the tracks and finding a weapon the government don't know about. I also suggest that you get rid of the ones they do know about. Is that criminal? Depends on how you look at it. Legally, it is criminal. But self-preservation should, in your mind, trump any law that has ever been made. Self-preservation, preservation of the lives of your children, your friends, should come before the law. Your overall well-being should come before the law. And I think this is why I've had so many problems with the law my entire life. The whole thing. I've had nothing but problems with the law because I don't act according to their statutes. I don't act according to the libraries of federal laws. I act according to my own self-preservation. Yet I remain free. I know, I'm just ranting here, right? Sometimes the best things come out of the rant. That was a very personal thing I shared with you. Something I've kept bottled up inside of me for 40 plus, well, not 40 because it happened, started happening around 3 years old, but yeah, 40 years, 41 years to be exact. I've kept these things bottled up inside me. And guess what? The molester, he's a Republican. A Republican. Then, when I was, I think, about 4-ish, I wake up one morning and I go in to see my little brother, James. He's a beautiful little boy. His head was stuck between his the bars of his crib, and he was dead. And I tried in vain to wake my parents up to try to save him. They were so self-centered that they drink themselves into a stupor, and it was very difficult to wake them up. If there's any chance of saving him, it was gone because of that. Then, for the rest of my life, well, until I left my parents, I was blamed for my brother's death. The people who are supposed to protect you, or who say they have the responsibility to protect you, are almost always the ones who betray you. Please, man. Please. do yourself a favor. Turn your back on the system. Buy black market weapons. Hide them. Buy as much shit as you can to survive. Bullets. And if you have a chance, rocket launchers, RPGs, grenades. You have a chance. You better buy it. I was right about Trump. And I'm right about this. That day is coming. And it's fast approaching. And I pray it does. I pray it happens now, today. I do. Because if this goes any further, our future will be more nightmarish than you can ever imagine. Kill the state.